Our guest tonight is among those who have called out the Senate for the delay in the impeachment trial of VP Sara Duterte. Tonight, she joins us on The Big Story. Welcome to the program, Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative-elect, Leila de Lima. Good evening to you and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, Cess, Sean, and Pauline, and the viewers of The Big Story. Good evening.
We'd like to start with the preparations of the prosecution panel. You've joined the team. Despite this raging debate, what have you done in terms of preparing for the trial?
Actually, Cess, I'm not yet officially a member of the prosecution panel. Yes, I was invited and I accepted it. But since I'm not yet officially a member of the House of Representatives, meaning I have not officially assumed office yet as a member of the House of Representatives, because this is still the 19th Congress, and I will be a member of the next Congress, 20th Congress, and so does Representative Chel Jok. No. Yes, I have accepted it, but I have not really formally engaged yet with the rest of the members of the prosecution panel. But I can say that by now, the prosecution panel has really been preparing already. Hindi pa lang kami nakaka-attend ng meeting kami ni Representative Chel Jok, because we have not yet been formally notified about any meeting of the prosecution panel.
All right, let's go to the complaint, the impeachment complaint that you had filed. In fact, was it last year that you had filed the complaint? The vice...
Yes, Assess.
The vice president brought a petition before the Supreme Court citing infirmities in the complaint, because citing that, you know, the one-year ban might have been violated. What do you answer to this?
I do not understand that. There is no, as far as I know, there has been no applicability yet of this one-year prohibitive period, because the complaint, the first complaint of which I am the spokesperson, I'm not really a complainant. I did not sign the first complaint, impeachment complaint, but I was designated as the spokesperson. Now that was filed in December, early December. So we don't talk yet here about the one-year prohibitive period. I don't understand what procedural lapses or procedural infirmity they have cited in their petition before the Supreme Court. As far as I know, and as far as I argue, there is no procedural infirmity of what has happened yet so far at the House level. Insofar as the House of Representatives is concerned, from where the articles of impeachment originated, there was nothing procedurally defective there, because the proceedings were actually sanctioned by the Constitution. Because instead of taking up the three complaints, all three complaints were filed in December 2024. Instead of taking up these three complaints, and therefore would still undergo a series of hearings before the proper committee, what was done by the House of Representatives as a body is to already adopt a verified complaint and signed and endorsed by the required number of votes in the Constitution, which is 1/3. And they were able to get more than 1/3, and that's about 215 yung mga pumirma dyan sa verified complaint na diniretso na sa Senado for trial, supposedly. So nothing procedurally defective or questionable, and more so unconstitutional at the level of the House of Representatives. What is looming to be unconstitutional is this, what we hear about is going to happen probably in June 11, because of this alleged draft resolution being circulated now in social media, that the office of Senator Bato de la Rosa admitted to have been the source of that draft resolution, which is so questionable as it is in violation of the Constitution.
All right. I'm asking about the procedure in the House because parang binabato pabalik sa House ang problema. Kasi hindi daw na-refer sa Justice Committee kaagad-agad. And so there was this possible infirmity. It's just, I guess, a battle of, I don't know, tit for tat. And we are all, you know, the people can be confused by what is happening. And the arguments can be parang ad nauseam na, parang, but perhaps let's go to the root of it. Why is this important para sa taong bayan po?
Napakahalaga po nito because we're talking here about accountability, pananagot, na kung babasahin nyo yung verified complaint, lalo na yung articles of impeachment na na-transmit na sa Senado, at kahit basahin nyo rin po yung mga nandun sa first 3 complaints filed by various groups and endorsed by members of the House of Representatives, very substantive grounds. And the stated grounds are those recognized under the Constitution: culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, betrayal of public trust, high crimes. So ang wala na lang doon yung treason and yung bribery. Pero all those that recognize grounds of the Constitution, nandyan, grounds sila, kasama sila sa articles of impeachment. And the basis, the factual basis are also clear. And we, of course, maintain, although, as I said, I'm not yet an official member of the prosecution panel, but from what I saw during the hearings at the House, the Quadcom hearings, the hearings sa Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, sa budget hearings, at saka sa mga nakita ko ngayon so far sa records, because I have started already reviewing the records of the impeachment, even if I have not been officially notified yet about any meeting of the prosecution panel, ay malakas ang basehan. And this is about yung pananagutan. Kaya nga meron tayong impeachment. Yan ang special na proseso na linagay dyan sa Constitution para sa special set of high-ranking officials na hindi sila basta-basta mapapaalis, kundi sa pamamagitan lang ng process of impeachment. Kaya ito napakahalaga. Ito yung mga principles of truth, justice, and accountability. It's the principle also of checks and balances. So hindi pwede itong balewalain. Hindi pwede na ganyan ang ginagawa ng Senado. Hindi na natin alam kung ano talagang gagawin nila, yung mga pag-dribble nila, na talagang they violated already nung pagka-transmit pa lang sa kanila nung February 5. Anong ginawa? Hintayin na lang muna natin na mag-resume kami yung sa June 2. Yun ang sabi nila because it was an electoral break. And then ngayon na naman, instead na ginawa nila nung June 2, riniset na naman nila sa June 11. And then ito may kumakalat na draft resolution na napapatay kung yan ay ma-adopt ng majority of the members of the Senate. That would kill the impeachment case. But it's an unconstitutional way of doing it. Kasi hindi pa sila nagko-convene as impeachment court. They have not constituted themselves as an impeachment court. And therefore, they have no authority whatsoever to act on any matter related to impeachment. Lalo na yung pag-preempt nila sa pag-convene nila as impeachment court.
But if it's done after they are constituted as an impeachment court?
It would still be violative of the Constitution. Because they have no option. The Senate, even when sitting as an impeachment court already, has no option except to continue with the trial, to hold the trial, continue the trial until final judgment, until they give their verdict of either conviction or acquittal. Wala pong option dyan ng Senado.
Okay, right
To
now,
ignore and dismiss. Yes.
yes. But right now, Senator, it's only a draft, so hindi pa naman siya actually totoo. And now we all know about it and we're discussing it, so that's well and good. But if push comes to shove and may suporta itong resolution at naging tunay na resolution siya, what do you foresee happening? Ano yung kinakatakutan yung magyari?
Okay, sa June 11, assuming ganun nga po mangyayari, na they will formally introduce that resolution and then vote on it, and then baka sasabihin nila, simple majority lang ito kasi resolution lang ito. And so if makuha nila yung majority vote, then carried or adopted that resolution. So ang nakikinikinita ko, nasusunod, meron ngayon tatayo dyan and make a motion for adjournment sine die. And ordinarily, a motion to adjourn is non-debatable. So matatapos at that point. But
Uwian na, ganun.
unconstitutional. Uwian na. And sasabihin na lang nila, let's wait for the next Congress in July 1. Kasi ito, 19th Congress hanggang June 30 pa. But adjourn na sila sine die. That's why ayaw na nilang magtrabaho, ayaw na nilang gawin yan. So, pero sabi ko nga po kanina, hindi nila pwedeng gawin yan, hindi pa sila nagko-constitute as an impeachment court. Magiging what we call ultra vires act on the part of the Senate. Kung isusulong pa rin nila yung resolution na yan.
If they do it
Yes.
once they are constituted as an impeachment court, parang wala nang puwang para gawin yon dahil impeachment court na sila.
Impeachment
you're saying
court na
they
sila.
do it more as in the plenary before they
Yes, but in the
constitute themselves.
Correct. Yun ang kung makikita mo on the face of that draft resolution, they're not yet constituted as an impeachment court. So baka nga pilitin nila yan kahit hindi pa sila nagko-convene as an impeachment court. So maling-mali yun. And even if they do convene officially, for example lang, sa June 11, so mag-convene muna sila and mag-oath. And then the first thing that they will tackle is that particular resolution as an impeachment court. Now they can vote on that. But the next question is that legal? Is that constitutional? Again, I humbly and respectfully submit that it is still violative of the Constitution because, as I said earlier, they have no option to discontinue, to abandon, to stop, and to kill the impeachment. Their only constitutional duty is to hold trial and render judgment accordingly after
And
trial.
what's our recourse, Senator? Taong bayan, no? Filipino citizens, bukod sa pupunta tayo sa EDSA, parang yung nagyari kay President Erap, what is the legal recourse? Pwede bang ipastop to sa SC? What's the...
Either way, I foresee already that either way, ay dadating ang issue sa Supreme Court, particularly on the issue on whether or not this can be carried over to the next Congress. And an impeachment process that was initiated in the current Congress, can this be carried over? Can it cross over the next Congress, which is the 20th Congress? So either way, ano yung desisyon ng... but they have to constitute first themselves as impeachment court. So they will either say, okay, we will continue. We will now issue the summons. We will now require the respondent, the impeached official, to file the verified answer within 10 days. And the defense will most probably go to the Supreme Court and try to stop it again. Another petition would be filed by the camp of VP Sara. Questionin nila yan, na hindi nyo na pwedeng gawin yan kasi nag-adjourn na kayong sine die, at lalo na pagpunta ng next Congress, hindi na rin pwedeng gawin yan. But if they will still insist on this so-called de facto dismissal of the impeachment case, then the prosecution would also have that option. Although I've always taken the position na hanggat maaari, hindi na dapat pinapa-intervene ang Supreme Court pagdating sa impeachment. Because the Senate, as an impeachment court, is supposed to be the sole judge, that it has this jurisdiction to try and decide exclusively cases of impeachment. But it doesn't mean absolutely na hindi na pwede ang Supreme Court makialam, especially if the matter, the action, for example, on the part of the Senate is clearly violative of the Constitution and constitutional, and that is more than a case of grave abuse of discretion, and therefore the Supreme Court can intervene.
Congressman Leila, pagdating po dun sa 7 articles of impeachment, which among them do you think holds the strongest or most compelling argument when you try the Vice President? And as you prepare to serve as one of the prosecutors, will you be requesting for a particular assignment?
Well, I cannot yet preempt the prosecution panel on what exactly would be my assignment if I officially become a member of the prosecution panel. Now, on your question of whether which articles are strongest, the first 3, I would think the first 3. The first was the open and public threats, the contracting of an assassin to kill the president, the speaker, and the first lady. That was open and public. Everybody saw that. There was a big video, and that ipipresenta lang yung video na yan, and then of course subject to the rules of authentication.
Sabi ni Sal Panelo, ang kadugtong nun, kung mamatay siya. So it wasn't
conditional daw.
It's still a threat. There's no such thing as conditional threat. It's still a threat. And is it proper for a very high-ranking official, the second highest official of the land, to be uttering those things? That is so unbecoming, and it shows unfitness. Yung mga ganyang asal, is that supposed to be the conduct of the second highest and most powerful official of the land? And then, of course, yung mga misuse, abuse of confidential funds. We saw a lot of that during the hearings. Hindi pa nga lahat yun. And then the bank accounts. So, of course, this would come under the exception of the secrecy of deposits, because there's a case. This is a case, especially this is an impeachment case, which is even superior over ordinary judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative cases. So yun ang sa tingin ko, mga pinakamalakas. Kaya nga ang hiling lang po natin. And you also already that even the professors of the UP College of Law have already issued a statement calling for the holding of trial. Kasi malinaw din sa kanila, these are experts in law. Ang sabi nila, malinaw yung sinasabi ng saligang batas. Yung shall forthwith proceed. Napakalinaw kasi niyan. Forthwith proceed. And compared to the previous constitutions, the 1935 and the 1973 Constitution. Kasi yung dalawa na yun na Constitution, yes, meron din provisions on impeachment, pero wala pa yung phrase na yan, shall forthwith proceed. Ngayon lang, sa 1987 Constitution meron.
Plus
Kaya mahalaga.
In a way, it's a dangerous precedent for future public officers who can be impeached. I-delay mo na lang.
I-delay na ng delay. You are shielding that official from accountability. When this is all about accountability, ang hinihiling lang natin, ituloy yung trial, tingnan ang ebidensya. Wala pa tayong sinasabi ngayon na i-convict na siya. Just begin the process because that is your constitutional duty. That is an imperative.
I've heard this, several senators say this, kung matatalo din naman, wag na lang.
Bakit yun po ang iisipin natin at this point? All this talk about numbers or possible numbers are plainly speculative at this point. Although, of course, naiisip din natin kung sino, nakikita na natin sa mga statements nila ngayon, nakikita natin kung sino yung mga inclined to vote for acquittal, lalo na yung acquittal. And I think even that, yung kahit siguro anong klaseng lakas ng ebidensya, and they will just blindly vote in favor of acquittal. Whereas as I said, irrelevant muna dapat at this point yung numbers.
Okay.
Let us speculate on the numbers kung nandyan na yung mga ebidensya.
Going back to
Yes.
the first impeachment complaint filed against the Vice President, you were spokesperson. Bakit hindi po kayo pumirma doon?
Well, I just thought that I would have more leeway, more flexibility if I just act as the spokesperson. Although I was one with them, I perfectly agree, completely agree with the grounds stated there and the choice of the mode of impeachment. But I just preferred to be the spokesperson of the group.
Congresswoman, slightly connected to impeachment but not really, you will be joining Congress under a party list, Mamamayang Liberal. Ano po yung may expect naming mga alignments na gagawin ninyo once you're already sitting as a congresswoman? Are you going to be with the majority? Are you going to be with the minority? Are you going to stand independent? Although that's debatable if independence actually exists.
Okay, this is still under discussion within the Liberal Party and within the ML and within also certain allied groups like Akbayan and several other party lists. We are still discussing that. We had an initial meeting with several of the members of the House of Representatives, mostly re-electionists. And Akbayan was there also, ML was there, and 2 or 3 more party list representatives were there, and the others were district representatives. So there was initial discussion, but no decision yet. So at this point, we are eyeing the minority group status, but it's not yet final. Because the Liberal Party po, sa LP, tsaka sa ML, because ML is a sectoral arm of the Liberal Party. Now, in sa LP po, as much as possible, we would want sana that is a collective decision. There's a
May
consensus.
nagsabi
about
na, if I may interrupt, na you are in support, two at least of the LP representatives are in support of Speaker Romualdez.
Okay, there has been no confirmation yet about that. Kung sino-sino yung sinasabi na I think yung sinasabi is that they were able to sign already this statement or manifesto of support for the leadership of Speaker Romualdez. But we have not confirmed that yet because, as I said, we're still discussing it within LP and ML and also with the minority, with the other groups that are, we can say, inclined to join the minority party and the minority group or the minority bloc in the House.
Finally, before we let you go, you are in a unusual position, because of what happened to you, having been jailed for so long and now in a position to exact retribution, revenge. It can be
It's
read
not
that way. But what drove you to, because I recall when you said you were going to think about it and it seemed like the next day you had made up your mind. Ano po, what's driving you po to be part of the prosecution panel, despite, I'm sure, that was in your thought process?
If you look at if you look at my track record in public service, beginning with as chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights and later as Secretary of Justice under the Pinoy administration, and then as senator, I'm always focused on truth, justice, and accountability. So you can say that this is something natural for me to be able to help out, because the fact that they invited me, meaning the House leadership, invited me to be part of the prosecution panel, I would say that they probably think that I can contribute in any manner and on the aspect of exacting accountability from a high official. So it has nothing to do with any any motivation of retribution, revenge, vendetta, or whatever. Some people may think that, and no matter what I say, they would also always think that way. But I can assure you that it has nothing to do with vendetta, vengeance, retribution. It's all about duty. I feel it is also my duty as an elected member of the House of Representatives, and with my background, that I would be able to contribute significantly in this process of exacting accountability.
Thank you, Party List Representative-elect. Hindi pa ako sanay tawagin kayong congressman, Leila
Ako
de
rin po.
Lima.